Greetings! Welcome to the tutorial video. In this video you can learn how to be a good air traffic controller and good pilot. Please sit comfortably and listen carefully. Thanks!
Please take your seat and fasten your seat belt. And also make sure your seat back and folding trays are in their full upright position. If you are seated next to an emergency exit, please read carefully the special instructions card located by your seat. If you do not wish to perform the functions described in the event of an emergency, please ask a flight attendant to reseat you. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is prohibited on the entire aircraft, including the lavatories. Tampering with, disabling or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight attendants. Thank you.
Now the pilot has to contact a ground air traffic controller. First step is clearance. The pilot reports that he is at parking. The ground air traffic controller informs pilot about runway for departure and ask pilot contact him again when the pilot is ready to start.
08 left. When ready to start. Cabin crew. Prepare doors for departure and crosscheck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your chief flight attendant. On behalf of our captain and the entire crew, welcome aboard. At this time, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position and that your seat belt is correctly fastened. Also, your portable electronic devices must be set to airplane mode until an announcement is made upon arrival. Thank you.
After closing the door, the pilot has to contact the ground air traffic controller and request permission to push back. Depending on the situation, the air traffic controller will give permission and the direction of pushback, or tell you to stand by and waiting for other orders. Don't forget about safety briefing for passengers. It is really important.
Demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. Take a minute to locate the exit closest to you. Note that the nearest exit may be behind you. Count the number of rows to this exit. Should the cabin experience sudden pressure loss, stay calm and listen for instructions from the cabin crew. Oxygen masks will drop down from above your seat. Place the mask over your mouth and nose, like this. Pull the strap to tighten it. If you are traveling with children, make sure that your own mask is on first before helping your children. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing and evacuation, leave your carry-on items behind. Life rafts are located below your seats and emergency lighting will lead you to your closest exit and slide. We ask that you make sure that all carry-on luggage is stowed away safely during the flight. While we wait for takeoff, please take a moment to review the safety data card in front of you.
Now it's time to turn on the engines. The pilot again has to contact ground air traffic controller and request permission to start up.
Request start up.
Startup approved. Report when ready to taxi.
Startup approved. Call you back when ready to taxi.
Now, ground air traffic controller decides to change runway for departure. The pilot has to answer to ground air traffic controller and execute order.
Change to runway 08 right.
Roger. Change to runway 08 right. Flaps.
Now, when all engines are working correctly, the pilot has to contact the ground air traffic controller and ask permission to taxi to the runway for departure. If ground air traffic controller is not busy, he can say to you properly way like in this video.
08 right.
Roger. Taxi to holding point runway 08 right.
Turn right next taxiway.
Wilco.
Continue. Continue. Request start up. Turn left next taxiway.
Wilco.
Now, the pilot must cross runway. Before performing the maneuver, the pilot must ask permission to ground air traffic controller. Ground will check if pilot can cross runway. If not, pilot has to stop plane and wait permission.
Request cross runway.
Cross runway approved.
Roger. Cross runway approved.
Continue.
Now, pilot announce cabin crew to prepare for take-off and stop plane before runway. Pilot contact ground air traffic controller and indicates
Prepare for
holding
takeoff.
point runway. Ground air traffic controller will ask pilot to contact tower
Holding
air
point
traffic
runway
controller.
08
Before
right.
contact tower, crew have to prepare passengers for takeoff.
Contact tower on 118.650.
We are now ready for takeoff. Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened and all baggage is secured underneath your seat or in the overhead compartments. We also ask that your seats and table trays are in the upright position for takeoff. Please switch to airplane mode all personal electronic devices, including laptops and cell phones. Enjoy your flight.
Now pilot is on air traffic controller frequency. Tower will order to pilot to continue or stand by.
Continue.
Now pilot is on runway. Before takeoff, he has to ask permission to tower air traffic controller to departure and follow next orders.
Good day. Holding point runway 08 right. Ready for departure.
Wind 257 degrees 11 knots. Clear for takeoff runway 08 left. Report leaving 3,000 feet.
Clear for takeoff runway 08 right. Call you back passing 3,000 feet. Rotate. Positive rate. Flaps.
When pilot arrives to altitude 3000 feet, he has to contact tower air traffic controller and advise about leaving 3000 feet. Pilot will receive orders to contact departure air traffic controller.
Leaving 3,000 feet.
Please contact departure on 124.350.
Roger. Departure on 124.350.
Now, pilot advise departure air traffic controller about climbing to next waypoint. Departure air traffic controller can give to pilot orders to change vector. Pilot has to follow departure air traffic controller orders.
Good day, just airborne. Climbing to next waypoint.
Departure contact. Proceed with your flight plan.
Roger.
Change vector. Altitude 5,000 feet.
Wilco.
Change vector. Heading 327.
Wilco.
When pilot reach target altitude, he has to contact departure air traffic controller and advise about leaving departure.
Reach target altitude. Leaving departure.
Proceed with your flight plan.
Roger.
Now we are arriving to our destination. Pilot has to contact approach air traffic controller and request landing information. If pilot has some problems with autopilot, approach air traffic controller can help pilot to land with vector orders.
Runway 09 left. Report full establish.
Continue descent. Runway 09 left. Wilco.
pilot sees the runway, he has to advise approach air traffic controller about full established runway. Pilot will receive order to contact tower air traffic controller frequency.
Full established runway, 09 left.
Contact tower on 118.500.
Roger. Tower on 118.500.
Remember to advise crew to prepare for landing.
Cabin crew. Prepare for landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been cleared to land at our destination. Please make sure one last time your seatbelt is securely fastened. The flight attendants are currently passing around the cabin.
Good day.
When crew
established
finishes to
runway,
talk to
09
passengers,
down.
contact tower air traffic controller and advise about landing. If on the runway there is another plane, the pilot will receive order to go around.
Clear to land runway 08 left.
Clear to land runway, 09 left.
Nice landing. Now pilot has to contact tower air traffic controller and advise tower about runway vacated. Pilot will receive order to contact ground air traffic controller frequency.
Runway vacated.
Please contact ground on 121.970.
Roger. Ground on 121.970.
Advise your passengers about such as will arrive to the destination.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your destination. For your safety and the safety of those around you, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and keep the aisles clear until we are parked at the gate.
Runway
Now pilot has to request to ground air traffic controller taxi to gate. Ground can change gate too. If ground is not busy, he can say to you correct way to gate, like in this video.
Proceed to gate 135.
Wilco.
Turn left next taxiway. Continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not yet reached the gate. Please remain seated until the captain turns off the fasten seat belt sign. Thank you. Continue. Turn right next taxiway.
Wilco.
When pilot currently parked at the gate, he has to turn off engines, dock with gate and advise ground air traffic controller about switching off.
Approaching gate, switching off.
Roger. Close at 3-1.
Have a nice day.
We are finishing our tutorial video. We hope everything was clear. If you have some questions, please contact Moderation Team at Reuters Discord server. Have a nice day.